Welcome back to Crooked River Homestead, everyone. It's that time. It's time for our weekly garden tour. There's been a lot of progress and changes in the past week that I'm anxious to share with you. And I'm also going to be working on a fun but practical, useful project after that, which shouldn't take too long, but I think it'll add some security to the garden and also some beauty. We'll start in the cut flower garden here. Our dill is getting a little bit taller, and I did plant some zinnias, more zinnias in this area, and you can see that they're also starting to come up. It seems very easy to grow here anyway. I don't know if it's normally easy to grow, but it's growing. And our cosmos are looking good. And I'm actually starting to see some growth in the straw flower garden. These look a little different to me. I've never grown them, so I wasn't sure what to look for, but it's been a month since I planted them, so maybe I haven't looked at the seed packet to see if it takes that long for them to germinate. The snapdragons really taking a long time. I think those are some baby ones there, and I did transplant a couple that I had started, but they're not much bigger. And here is our first planting of the zinnias. They are looking really well, so I uncovered them. And I wanted to ask you guys if you've ever done this. And I may just do it as an experiment to get more cut flowers out of these. Was watching a YouTube video. I can't quite remember who it was. I can picture her in my mind. But after the first two set of true leaves, she snips the plants right here. And then the plant will do some offshoots and grow bigger. So I may try that with half of these and do a little experiment. And she also does it with her veggies, so I'm not too sure about that. But let me know if you have tried that practice and how it's worked for you. And this is our squash patch, and I am finally starting to see some little seedlings. Whoops, just tripped on one of my landscape staples here. So we have this one, and then we have one back there. Oh, two back there. So they're starting to pop up. This is a very damp spot, so I wasn't sure if they would do well. And this squash plant is doing very well. I think this might be a butternut squash, going by the location of the seeds, because I think I did the delicata squash more on the edge of the patch here. So I'm giving this a little more time, and they're gonna need room to grow anyway, so even if they don't all come up, I'm not gonna get too worried. And we do have some calendula. This is our initial calendula patch here, and I'm seeing a little sprout here on our new patch. The strawberries are starting to come in, and they are delicious. I just uncovered the pepper plants yesterday, and they're doing well. The ones in the greenhouse are doing better. And we still just have the one row of asparagus that has come up so far. And I did plant 6 pumpkin seeds here, so it looks like we have 3 plants coming up of the pumpkins. So hopefully we'll have some pumpkins for fall decorating, and maybe even sell some in the farm stand. I did start mulching in the rows. I just did half of this one. There is cardboard under here, and a pretty thick layer. but I am hanging on to, I have my wood chip pile there, and this is some shavings from the chicken coop. I'm hanging on to those for mulching around my plants because that's more important right now. And then I did put a little bug in Tim's ear that I need more up here. So eventually he'll bring me more up here and I'll finish doing the rows. And over here, our cucumber patch is doing very well. You can see that I had planted, because I wasn't sure how viable my seeds were, so I was putting like 2, sometimes 3 seeds in a hole, and you can see that they all came up actually. So I think my first planting was just at the wrong time, or I don't know, who knows if I was using older seeds. So I did put this trellis system up yesterday, just using spare materials that I had, because I do want to try trellising the cucumbers this year, and I'll probably have to add a little more, either a tomato cage to help with the trellising over here, or just another some more stakes and twine. And we're finally seeing some growth in the carrot patch. So we have some small plants forming, and some, they're still really in the baby stages, and so it's kind of sporadic through this area. But this is the second planting. I am going to try growing some in the greenhouse, a shorter variety, to see how those come out. And the tomatoes look very healthy. This is the cherry tomatoes, and we do have some small cherry tomatoes forming and flowering. So these are all doing very well. And oh, I see some flowering over there in that plant. Our chamomile patch is also coming in nicely, and it's a little I think some of the seeds might have gravitated, with the rain and whatnot, but I wanted to save that plant, so we put a little some rocks around here to protect them all, or to alert people that there's something growing here. And our beans are doing very well. This is the last patch that I had planted, the second planting, and there are some baby plants coming up here, so I still have this area covered. And so these are still the bush beans. We have some younger ones in here, and the older ones, and these are the pole beans. They are looking very healthy, and they're already, I put up this trellis yesterday, they're already climbing. They were definitely ready to climb. They were putting out those shoots to climb. So again, just some stakes I had hanging around and some rope. Very inexpensive and should work very well. Last summer we had used that old trellis back there for the pole beans, but the plants on the back side of the trellis were not getting any sun, and even like the row behind was not getting much sun and not as much growth. So everything is going to get sunlight here, and there'll be more air moving, which will be good. And our Swiss chard is doing very well, getting bigger. And I did plant some more seeds. You can see a little cluster there. And as you can see, I've started mulching in between some of these plants to help with retaining moisture. And over time, they will There's another small cluster of newer growth. And over time, as they break down, they'll add nutrition to the soil. So I just pulled all my radishes in this patch a couple days ago, and we got maybe 10. A lot of them were small, skinny things that you couldn't bother with. So I just did like a third planting. I have the second planting there that's starting to pop up. So just trying to keep the radish produce going. And I wasn't going to try beets, but this was where the kale was supposed to grow. I'm going to try growing kale in the greenhouse and see how that turns out, closer to the fall. So I did plant a small area of beets here, and I'm also going to try beets in the greenhouse for the fall. And this looks like a random Swiss chard plant that, or it might be lettuce, but I don't know. Anyway, a seed made its way over here. So I'm letting that grow. I planted more just regular bush beans in this area just yesterday. So still waiting. We're going to wait on that. And our peas are doing well. I do need to make a trellis for these older ones, I should say. We still have some young ones here from the second planting that I'm keeping covered at the moment. But I had to pull back the netting because they were starting to grow into the netting. Their little shoots that they want to climb with were going into the netting. So I'll just set up a simple trellis system like that today to help them out. And we're still struggling with lettuce. This was planted a week ago, and I'm not seeing anything that looks like lettuce right now. So we may try that in the greenhouse when it's not so warm. And so this is the radish patch here. I did kind of thin them yesterday, and but they're coming up. Rhubarb looks very healthy. I'll probably split this in the fall and put one in another location. And we do have a fair amount of sunflowers growing. I did plant some more seeds where there weren't any coming up yesterday. So hopefully we will get more coming up for our cut flowers. I'm not really seeing anything with the yarrow. Well, from what I was reading, it looks like ferns, but I think these are just our run-of-the-mill ferns that grow everywhere here, and I keep having to chop them back. So just keeping this covered for now. And our other calendula patch, we're waiting for growth on that one. This one kind of got washed out. You can see all the shavings are kind of in the ditch there. And so who knows where or if anything will grow here. But yeah, we got some torrential rains about 3 days ago. I haven't had to water. You can see the dirt still looks damp here, and we're going to get more rain this afternoon and tonight. Another project I have started working on is putting some rocks all along the base of our fencing here. We have that netting that goes from the top here all the way to the ground, and the wire fencing, sometimes there's a gap between the ground and sometimes it's just sitting on the ground. So there's definitely, if you look here, there's definitely, a little critter could definitely dig and get under there. And yes, we could have buried this wire fencing, and we could bury this netting, this plastic netting. But for now, I'm just gonna lay rocks on top of the netting and secure it to the ground to keep it tighter. You can see here is more of a dip. So we'll see how that works. If I do have an issue with smaller critters getting in there, then I'll have to bury that netting. But we have rocks everywhere here, and it's very difficult to dig, especially by hand. So I've only done this one side, so my plan is to do all 3 sides, and hopefully I'll get that done today. We got plenty of rocks back there, and also we have plenty of rocks on this side of the garden that need to be thinned out. Well, I think that looks a lot better. Just looks a little rustic. Add some warmth to the fencing around the garden. Here's the back side of the garden. I was glad to clean up this side of the garden, because I'm sure there'll be, the weeds are going to want to grow back here, and I need to get in here and be able to keep it clean. And I may pass a rake over what's left just to kind of smooth it out. But I'm going to close up my makeshift door here. Last summer, all I had was this netting and some T-posts around the garden, and it was only 4 feet high. But of course, we were living up here. We had our camper parked over here, so there was more activity in this area. Thanks for joining me in the garden today. The garden is pretty much all set right now, just waiting for things to grow and to wait for harvest. So pretty much just maintenance, watering and weeding when it needs it. And so now I feel I can move on to getting the greenhouse beds ready. The tomatoes and the peppers are in there already, and they're doing very well. We do have to monitor the temperature, but it's working out great so far. So I'm excited to get stuff growing in there, some more stuff. Please like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, we would love it if you join us on our journey as we build our off-grid homestead here in Maine. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I'll keep praying to heaven and fighting like hell.